Let's go live. All right. So, hello again, everyone. We have Amy here today. Amy is a graduate of the LoYo Method coaching program. Welcome, Amy.
Hello, thank you for having me.
I'm so pumped that you're here. You look fabulous.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So it's so nice to see you. Amy recently graduated. She graduated in February of this year. It's now March. So we love to have her back and say hello and talk about your experience a little bit. Why don't you tell us a little bit, briefly a little bit about yourself, where you're from, a little bit about you.
So I'm Amy. Hi. And I'm from Illinois. I have one son and he is amazeballs.
Awesome.
I
Awesome.
I spend a lot of time doing stuff for that area of my life.
As a mom.
Yeah, totally.
Absolutely. So I know we spoke, probably sometime last fall and talked a lot about some of the challenges that you were having. And instead of me telling everybody what I remember, why don't you tell us a little bit about your story in terms of where you were prior to last fall?
So I had a lot of hangups, like a lot of hangups. I didn't recognize that I could be worthy of something like this. I tried a whole bunch of other things to lose weight and to just not really focus on what the problem was, but just snip it out of my life entirely. Not look at it, not focus on it, not do anything about it, just cut that out like like a cancer. Um but I started I started seeing things in my world, and like people call them omens or signs or whatever. But one of the things that I saw was a recipe for ice cream made out of avocados. Yes, I did. I saw it and I said, huh, what's this about? So I clicked on it and it was the LoYo method. And I was like, what? What does LoYo mean? And then I started looking at it and I was like, love yourself. Nuh-uh. Nope, that is not in my wheelhouse right now. It's not happening. But I'm going to take a peek and I'm going to see. And then I had this amazing call with you. And I was like, this woman says she believes in me. I don't know what to do with that. So I talked to my boyfriend and I said, hey, what do you think about this? And he said, if it makes you happy, do it. And I went, what? Okay, well, I'm gonna.
And I appreciate that. And I'm so glad that you had a wonderful experience and a wonderful call. And that's part of that as far as getting good clarity and talking through what's going on and what those possibilities are for you. So what would you say were some of the, like you said, love yourself? What? No, not me. Like, what were some of those challenges? Where were you? And I know that we sort of entitled this how you sort of stepped into fear and overcame your relationship with food, but what were some of the challenges for you, some of your goals around food, around body, around self, prior to us having a conversation?
I wanted to be able to look in the mirror and not have an abreaction. I wanted to be able to see myself for who I truly was and not some funhouse mirror thing. I had Lyme disease, don't have it anymore, but the effects are still there. So my relationship with food has been detrimental to everything else in my life. It has affected everything. My relationship with my family has been surrounded by food. We get together and we eat. Okay. Some people are fat, some people are skinny, some people are in between. And, you know, it didn't really matter when you were sitting at the table. It's when you got up, and then the comments would start, and the relationship with the people that I had in my life, I started to look at that. I did not recognize that some of the things that I heard in my own head on a repeat basis were not mine. I started to recognize that food is fuel. It's not uh it's not a coping mechanism. It's not something that I have to use for any other reason than the reason that I give it. And if I don't pay attention to that, then I'm going down a whole different road.
What was that road? So before you started to learn, like, food can be fuel for you. I know that we spoke about Oreos, and we spoke about cravings, and we spoke about emotional eating, and we spoke about comfort eating, and or not eating for a period of time and then like going kind of crazy in terms of eating all the things. So can you just elaborate a little bit on what that was like for you, that those behaviors, that mentality?
It was all or nothing. There was no gray area. Either I was eating or I wasn't. So it's not like I was starving myself. I got busy in the mornings. Getting my son off to school that's like a 2-hour process. So having breakfast was not that was not part of my. I couldn't figure out how to put it in there.
Mhm.
Now I do. I have breakfast every morning.
And you have a special needs son.
Yes.
And that's really, that's tough. And it takes more time out of your busy day.
Uh,
Um,
so like most of what I do he is my busy day. So just getting his shoes on, like that's kind of a 10-minute process. Getting his coat on, making sure that he says good morning to my boyfriend so that he doesn't have a meltdown on the way to school, because that can happen. So all of those things stacked up, and I said, there's no room for me. There's no time for me. And I didn't understand that that's what I was doing until I started to talk to you, and I started to listen to other people that were going through this. And I was like, wait a second, she's a mom. She has time. How does she have time? How does she do it? And then I would start to like, I literally, I would watch people in the chat and go, oh, oh, or, the calls that were weekly, I would listen to them, and you would ask them pointed questions about what they did on a daily basis. And their clarity became my clarity, because I started to understand that it wasn't all about my son. I had to, I tell everybody, you have to put your mask on first, otherwise you can't help anybody else. Well, I was not putting on my own mask, and I wasn't taking care of myself. And now I, at the very minimum, I have breakfast every day, and I plan out my meals. I don't ask my boyfriend constantly, "Hey, what do you want to eat?" Now I plan it, and it becomes much easier. Like
I
a
love that
ton
concept.
easier.
I love that concept of the mask. And I know that, for so many, it seems very cliche, self-care. Yes. Put your mask on first, but there's so much, truth to that concept, because there are a lot of women who feel guilty or feel like they cannot ever put their self first, put their health first, because that would be at the sacrifice of their loved ones. Amy, did you feel like by you implementing some of these self-care tools, by you focusing on your health in various ways, you gave a few examples so far, did you put that at the sacrifice of your son, your boyfriend? Like, did you sacrifice, or like, is it actually helping you become a better mom or a better partner? Like, how is the
100%.
process?
100%. I became, uh, I was able to look at things differently. Nowhere in there did they ask me not to eat. Nowhere in there did they say, you have to eat all of the things from 8 until, 11 o'clock. Nowhere. They didn't ask for that. My son asks for things as he's taking them. So, mom, crackers. And then he will eat 4 tubes of crackers because he has no shut off valve and he just likes crackers. But I recognize by watching him that oh my gosh, that's what I'm doing. That's why he does that. No, no, we have to eat cauliflower now. So watching other people taking that time and just observing, and that was my me time, observing what I was doing, observing, every time I had a craving and I was like, well, I crave sugar. That's me. It's how I am. I would take a step back and say, why? Why am I craving sugar? Is it a biological thing? Or do I just want the comfort of sugar because I'm freaking tired and I want some zippity zip zip in my life, Um, because of the things that I had when I was younger, my body does not process things the same way. So uh, the sugar high that other people get, I that just makes me feel normal like everybody. But in doing so, I recognize that there are other ways to get that from the food that I eat. Rather than eating ice cream or rather than eating a sugary cereal or something like that, I can reach for an apple. And I feel really good eating an apple with peanut butter. Like, who knew you can put chia seeds in your peanut butter?
How would you say, and this is all really good stuff. So you're a busy mom. How would you say you've been able to implement your own care, like your own self-care? How would you say that you've been able to do that, managing all of the things in your life and still be able to then heal your relationship with food, overcome things like comfort eating and emotional eating? I guess those are kind of two different questions, but
So the relationship with food was much easier once I was able to understand that it wasn't me talking in my head, more or less. Like, I would hear the echoes of my family saying, oh, you have to clean your plate. Oh, you have to, you have to eat this. It doesn't matter if you don't like it. This is the only way to be healthy. And then me uh, having a reaction to that rather than listening to them and just doing it. I was always like, no, I'm not going to listen to you. I don't like cabbage. So,
rebel. There's the inner rebellion in us, right?
yes.
For sure.
And then on the other side of that, it was I was able to plan things. So it wasn't a surprise every day when I went to make dinner and I was like, I don't have anything out. Well, I don't know what to make. And the it was a chore to cook for my family. Now it's not. It's I feel honored to cook for my family, not because it's something that I have to do every day, but because this nourishes them. This nourishes me, and we can all sit and have a conversation over dinner. My son is a big movie watcher, so we have he speaks movie, so we watch movies sometimes during dinner, um, and then the movie player will pause for whatever reason, and then we talk about what's happening on the player. And I don't know if you know this, but a lot of movies have food in them. So we talk about the food that the characters are eating, and we talk about the food that we're eating, comparatively. Oh, well, rabbits eat carrots. Well, we eat carrots. Are we rabbits? So it's become much more enjoyable to be around food and to interact more or less with my food. I don't know how else to explain that. It's just, it's not a thing I have to do.
Got it. Yeah. It's like when you find, same thing for exercise. Exercise can be such a chore for people. They think they have to do it, right? But if you can find the right movement that you actually enjoy, then it becomes something enjoyable and a hobby as opposed to a chore or a to-do list. And you can apply that to really anything in your life. Once it becomes enjoyable and you can embrace the moment of whatever it is, it's not a chore. It's a mindful moment. I'm curious, you talked a lot about fear. You said fear was like a big thing for you. So tell me your fears. What hesitations did you have before joining after we had a conversation? Were you nervous to invest in yourself, or what were your fears?
So my fears were, am I wasting money? Am I worth it? That was a huge one. And I'm not saying, that 12 weeks is going to fix everything. I'm saying that inside of the LoYo method, there are modules that you look at and you go through. And if you follow the process, you find that there are ways to uncover things that make that make the whole process much easier. So the fear that I had about not being good enough, the fear that I had about am I worth it, the fear that I had about um, uh, dieting. Dieting never works. It just never works for me. I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense to me. I counted the calories, I lost weight, and then I gained it all back and I couldn't figure out why. Well, one of the reasons was I had this horrible relationship with food. If if I'm acting out and not even recognizing it while I'm eating surrounding food, what am I doing to the people around me as well? And then that became a fear that I was affecting horribly the people that were around me, and now, well, I just can't eat. I just shouldn't be around people while I eat. Um, but as you go through the modules, you uncover things. It, it's much easier to take a step back and say, oh, look, I journaled this. And, I journaled this morning. I journaled this last week. And really, is that what I thought? Did I really believe that? Or, I mean, I must have, because I wrote it. Like, that was in the moment. I'm looking right at the moment right now. And I had a big old fear about, I'm going to have to eat things I don't like, or things that I know make me not feel good. Um, that that dairy was a big thing for me. If I didn't, um, uh, what is that called? Where you eat nothing but dairy and fat? Can't remember. But there's a diet out there, Atkins maybe. I don't remember. Anyway, they people would eat like pounds of bacon and cover it in cheese. I'm like, that's gonna kill me. I don't know if I can do this. But the idea is that this all works for you based on what you can do. It's
I'm curious what, and that's, part of this process is leaning into the fears through the process, right? Helping you lean and feel and do the hard work, and holding your hand, right? To kind of lean into those discomforts, because we know that nothing productive comes from your comfort zone, and courage is being fearless, but doing it anyway. That is pure courage. That's how you achieve confidence, and that's how you achieve your goals. But before you even started, how did you overcome your fear of not getting a return on your investment, that it would be a waste of your money, that it's not going to work? How did you overcome the fear and say, I am going to do this?
You told me I was worth it. That's really it. On our clarity call, you told me I was worth it. And you said, if you feel the same way, then do this. You didn't beat me over the head with it. You didn't make me feel awkward or awful if I didn't. And um, thank you. That was a big one for me.
You are worth it.
Thank you.
Amy, it's such a pleasure. I really appreciate your vulnerability here and sharing, bits of your story. I'm sure we could talk for quite a long time. What would you say some of, and you've mentioned quite a few of your big wins here, but some of your big wins that, you're just really proud of and, excited about in terms of the changes that you've made?
Going out to a restaurant and not feeling awkward, not feeling like I can't be a part of the table because I have all these hang-ups about food. Now when we go out, the hang-ups are other people. And I am definitely noticing that because when we go out, my son is loud. Um, he's an adult size child, but he doesn't understand boundaries. So we're working on it, but he will walk by somebody's plate, and if they are eating French fries, he may take one. I used to feel really awkward about me, and that would carry over into the other people that I was with. I don't feel that way about me anymore. So I don't feel awkward about him anymore doing that. That's just who he is. And if they didn't want him to steal the fries, they should not have left it at the side of the table. That's what I'm saying. Big wins for me when I talk to my family now and they say, "Hey, do you want to come over for dinner?" I have that option of saying no. I didn't have that before. Well, we want to see you. Fine, then let's do it when I'm not eating dinner because I don't want to be around them while I eat dinner right now. And that's okay.
So boundary setting, self-care. Yeah.
Yeah, and it feels really good.
The smile, like it lights up for you when you're like, oh my God, reclaiming some ownership in yourself, right? Whoops, I think we lost you.
I'm so sorry.
No, that's
I'm
okay.
here. My phone is ringing and I can't. Oh, there it is. Okay.
That's okay. No, I love this, and I love the aspect of self-care and what you're saying so far. So, final question. Oh, you're still ringing.
I'm so sorry.
It's still buzzing away.
I'm so sorry. I cannot figure out how to make this go away. Okay.
There we go. What would you tell other women in your shoes right now? Like if someone is watching this and they were like, wow, that really resonates. My relationship with food is pretty unhealthy. I tell myself like, I have to put everyone else first and like I can't put my health first, or I emotionally eat and I'm really not worth it to invest in myself, or I have a fear of past dieting behaviors, like things that you went through. What would you tell someone like that?
The same thing that you told me. You are worth it. 100% you are worth it. The clarity that comes from doing this process is enormous. There are times it's not easy all the time, but looking at yourself rarely is. Just get through it. And there are women inside the group that are willing to say, "Hey, this is what I do, and this is how it works for me. Maybe you want to talk about how it works for you." And then we can bounce ideas off of each other. And it's not in secret, it's not hidden, it's not, oh, well, I have to DM somebody because I can't talk about it. No, like everybody's okay about it because they're all going through the same process. And it feels really good to know that there are other people there. Even when Facebook hated me and I couldn't comment on anything, I could still read it. And that was huge to me.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, I am so thrilled for you and your family. Such a pleasure. So thank you so much for coming on. And I'm sure if anyone has any questions, just pop them below. If you have a question for Amy about her experience, I'm sure she's all ears. And
Absolutely.
send a message, send us a message, no worries at all. I always love to hear from you guys, and I'm sure Amy would love to hear from you as well. So let us know if you have questions. And, thank you so much, Amy, for sharing your story. I really appreciate it. And I hope everyone has a wonderful day.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You're welcome. Bye.
Bye.